Women just have much more empathy than men. Like, I swear, a lot of men lack the empathy gene. Like, a lot of them are borderline psychopaths. Like, why don't men care about their children? It's because they don't have empathy.
Okay, before Sean jumps in and he's gonna like disagree with her, she's gonna be like, "Oh, you're being sexist to men." I actually agree with her. Like, I just do. Like, women are more empathetic than men are. Am I crazy? Like, I feel like that's just true, low key. I feel like I knew this was true when I saw there's two clips. There's a game opening and there's a bunny that gets hit with an arrow in the head, and there's a girl streamer that starts like crying, and then there's a clip of XQC and he starts laughing. That proves it to me. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Have you seen that clip? But that proved to me that women have more empathy than men.
And that truth bomb about how terrible men are was brought to you by a YouTuber who goes by Manifestel. Her proof of this statement? The actions of a few celebrities. Great. Thanks for attacking men in general because of what a few celebrities are doing.
I will say, the leaving your kids behind thing is like, that's not good.
Anyway, as I said, this is Manifestel, or L Ray, which sounds like a fake name, but I guess we can just call her L. Elle is a part of a group of women who decided to become YouTubers after they binged gold digger content clips from Shira7 on TikTok, and it seems like their singular goal is to make their female viewers as unlikable as possible. As if male and female relationships already weren't bad enough, we have creators like Manifestel making things worse by spreading narcissistic ideology like this.
Just exist. Because as a woman, you have value just by existing. And a lot of
Sheesh, bro. Are we really? Oh, man, bro. Talk about... I feel like I hear all the time people talking about this concept of the bare minimum in dating. Like, I want the bare minimum, or I want more than the bare minimum, or I'm giving the bare... Like, all this shit, right? I do not think a better encapsulation of this could be said right now than just a person telling someone to just exist. The crazy part is, like, I could never, ever in a million years see a guy saying this and not get cooked. You tell a male audience, a guy to a male audience, yo, guys, just exist. Like, what the fuck? That is not what we need. We need some guy telling us that if we don't get up and make $1 million, our entire family's gonna die and we're dead. This shit is just, it's very low frequency. It's like, just exist. Like, that would maybe hit if you're meditating and you need to just like be zen and be in the moment, just like, oh, like I'm existing, I'm floating in the meta world or whatever. That's nice. But just exist as like a general tip is what we doing, bro.
simply existing with a man, you're already doing him a favor because you bring so much to the table just by existing with him, just by allowing him 24/7 access.
Just by doing this one thing, you've done so many things. Do we understand how that does not make sense?
Nah, no you don't. The only things that have value just by...
He's so good, bro. Sean just, he just knows what he's doing, bro. Like,
by existing are children and pets. So unless you want to be treated like a child or a pet, you better get to work.
Ooh.
Getting along with someone and enjoying their company is great.
He's just the GOAT, bro.
That's the fun part of the relationship. But also, there's a lot of work to be done to create the space to have fun. And what guy wants to be with a woman who just sits there and exists? What woman would want to put up with a man who just exists in a relationship?
But also, I feel like what woman would want a man who just wants her for existing? Like, wouldn't a girl like feel a lot happier if she was with a guy who liked her for a lot of stuff? Like, hello? Like, isn't that like the more feminist take anyway? Because that girl low-key just reduced her to just being a thing that exists. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel, why am I the feminist in this situation, bro? Like, is this 2025 art gonna be something like this?
Like, honestly, the holidays are even worse for women who bear this responsibility of making sure that everything is in place and everyone else is unwinding. Like, a lot of the women are running themselves ragged while the men just exist.
Oh, so now it's suddenly a problem for someone to not contribute actual labor when it means that you have to do the work. What a convenient set of beliefs. It's almost the same kind of one-sided beliefs a person who lacks the empathy gene would have. So on the female side of the internet, you have ideas like that poisoning women who are often fresh out of a pathological relationship when they find Manifestel, and she basically recommends that they fix their relationship problems by doing the exact bad things that were done to them.
I'll tell you something as well, bro. The point that is being made here is sillier than her first point, because when you're talking about the holidays, the trade-off is that it's the end of the year, usually in a we'll say a traditional sense. The men have been working the whole year, putting food on the plate for you, the girlfriend, and now that it's break time, you're gonna take care of the guy. You're gonna set things up, and them just existing is just they're charging up. They're just recharging. You know what I'm saying? It's an intentional not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? It's just relaxing. So it actually makes perfect sense.
She fills her head with ideas that are very far removed from reality.
Guy friends almost always end up liking you.
Okay,
That is true.
that part was true.
Okay.
Anyway, here's the delusional part.
And for the longest time that you've been friends with them, they have liked you for all that time. So you just allowed him to date you for years on end, getting all the benefits of a relationship with you, draining you, using you in the games of men, using you as a status symbol, all under the guise of friendship.
Wait, they get all the benefits? Are you sure? Because I can think of a physical activity that is a benefit of a relationship that guys don't get when they're in the friend zone.
Women are trophies in the
It's
games
true.
of men. So female presence around a man confers a lot of status on him. All of a sudden, he's a winner. I've experienced and learned from other women how guy friends would want to go out with you as friends, but they would make other people think that you're together. And after that, he still has the audacity to Venmo request you.
You're kidding, right? As a guy, if you pretend to go out with a chick when you're actually in the friend zone, all of your male friends are going to think you're a complete loser when they find out. This isn't high school, Elle. I mean, you're old enough to be out of college. You're a fully grown adult, and who in their mid-20s thinks a guy in the friend zone is a winner? She's so delusional about this that she brings up a comment about how a male chat mod of a female streamer is using that streamer for clout. As if anyone outside of Reddit thinks that a Pokimane simp is cool.
I'm gonna tell you something else, bro. When she brings up the Venmo request, because she's saying, like, you have the audacity to Venmo request a girl that you just got the benefit of people thinking you're with her when you're in public. But it's like, first of all, that benefit is not the same price of the meal I just paid for, or the meal that we're splitting, right? Type shit, right? And you could say, well, you're splitting a meal. It's like, in a context where it's not a date, then that makes sense, I feel like, you know? Like, I'm not always out here paying for my friends' food. But the thing is here, it's just like the idea that like that perception of being with a girl in public is like actually monetarily worth something is like laughable. Like,
and the craziest,
it makes no sense at all. Like, it's not worth anything actually, because I go outside and I see a guy with a girl and I don't care at all. What?
is that she spends this whole video pretending that women don't knowingly string guys along in the friend zone because of the benefits that they get.
All the girlies who say, well, my guy friend is okay because he pays for me. So when you go out, he pays for you, but he's not dating you. They're accessing you in a romantic way, in a romantic setting, without being your actual mate.
Yeah, it sounds like she's receiving the benefit of our relationship here, because certainly I don't pay for all my friends' meals. We either trade off or we split the bill. Now, despite the fact that Manifestel will throw slight jabs at the manosphere, I really don't see much of a difference between her content and channels like Fresh and Fit. That's kind of the problem with all this stuff. I think mainstream figures in both the manosphere and the She-Ra 7 cinematic universe promote ideology that is incredibly toxic to the dating pool. The gold digger stuff is just the version of it that appeals to women. However, despite Elle taking slight jabs at channels like Fresh and Fit,
it's just so interesting too, because what they've done is they actually agree on the conclusion, but each of them just put their own gender first. So Fresh and Fit will basically say that, you know, you as the man, as the stronger one, the dominant one, you have to pay for meals, you have to be the leader in terms of dates and whatever the fuck, right? Because you are a high value man, you matter more. Women will just do the opposite. They'll be like, you are the prize. If he's not paying for you, then you should leave. You have a guy here and he's not treating you well, and by well, you know, in this context, they'll just say like showering you in money, then leave. It's just, it's two sides of the same coin, but each of them, they're just championing their own side more. Makes sense, but at the same time, kind of crazy how they agree on a lot of things about like gender roles and stuff like that, you know?
she repeats the same ideology.
You are the prize, not him. You are the source, not him.
Gee, where have I heard
Wait, didn't I just say that?
that before?
I always find it interesting how like
Bro, yeah, okay.
girls kind of like look at it like I'm the prize. Not really. I don't think so.
The reason why the man is the prize is because the man
Like, I feel like I just said that shit, bro.
needs to be superior
Decepth, what's up, bro?
to the woman for the woman to be interested in him. That's a fact.
Personally, I fail to see strong relationships where each partner doesn't think of the other as the prize.
And who's really doing that? Like, is it like, do real people in real relationships like look at their own relationship and constantly evaluate who's the more valuable person in the relationship? Like, is that not completely like tweaker behavior? You wake up and you're like, hey babe, just a reminder, you're dating the fucking goat. and then it's just like all the guy says throughout the day. It's kind of funny that I say it out loud. Like, I might start doing that. No, I'm just kidding. But it is funny once, but then if you're like constantly doing that in a serious tone to make some sort of point that you can't ever be wrong or some shit, it's just weird. You know what I'm saying, bro? And the other way around, like, oof. Give me a fucking break, bro. I can't imagine being with a girl and she's nonstop spamming some shit about like dating the baddest bitch of all time. Like you know how many guys look at me? I'm just like, okay, babe, shut the fuck up, babe. It's like, oof. Give it a rest, bro. Holy.
But maybe that's just my own life experiences. Next, we have the abundance mindset.
I want guys to have an abundance mindset, because when you have an abundance mindset, you're able to better detect a girl that is worthy of a relationship.
You need to get more into your abundance mindset, because as a woman, everyone wants to access you. Like literally everyone wants to access you.
I mean, I've even heard Manifestel call men hypergamous.
Because as it turns out, women usually date within or below their league, while men usually date
That is just not true.
out of their league.
Also not true. Yes! Yes! He's here! The GOAT! Sean, what do you think, bro? What was I texting you about, bro? I'm about to react to all your shit, boy. Real shit, though. It's so funny to me, right? It's so funny to me how each of them get it twisted. Like, I will say, in this one, I gotta side with the red pillars, because it is statistically proven that more women date up than men date down, right? This is a true fact. This is a true fact. It's based on real data that I don't have in front of me, but you gotta trust me. Source, trust me, bro. I'll tell you this, bro. If women date down, if this is so true, then how come the like distribution on dating apps, on Tinder, which has been quantified, shows that women only swipe right to about anywhere from 10 to 2% of men on the apps? Riddle me this. No, like, no cap. Like, if they're more selective, then that would show that they're more hypergamous. Because if you're more selective, you're selective in the upward direction, not in the middle direction. Because the middle, there's just so much. So how could you be so selective?
What? If you watch the video, her evidence of this is a random street interview where men say they would rather date a higher value woman, and women say they would rather date a lower value man.
I feel like the thing with leagues too, like if we're talking about being in and out of someone's league, because she said date women out of their league, I feel like if you're to do that look-wise, then you have to understand that you can balance that out with status. Because I think looks and status are almost on the same exact tier, bro. Like if you're like a medium or like below average looking guy, or like even an ugly guy, to be honest with you, bro, if you have like a lot of money and status and people know you, it literally, I feel like it doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're just known, then that just trumps the fact that you're not that great looking. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I feel like that's just how that works. Like Jeff Bezos is like a bald, like he looks like the Pokemon that pops out of the ground that has like the big round nose, but he got married. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that can balance out like an ugly guy, but that person dating a hot girl now is not dating down, you know, because he has obtained what he's lacked in looks in everything else.
First of all, just because a man wants a more valuable woman doesn't mean he can get her. Second, hypergamy is not specifically defined, so we have no idea what it means. Does higher value mean more physically attractive, more money, more education, more social skills, a better network? That's kind of the problem with this and the hypergamy studies that I was able to find. Basically, none of them considered important value indicators like physical attractiveness or the person's network and how those mix with things like making more money. Now, surely Elle wouldn't repeat this same talking point about how hypergamous men are in a different video about princess treatment and be
the rise of princess treatment from TikTok trend to a woman's movement.
Dumb enough to show a graph that displays married men.
Jesus Christ, bro, give it a fucking rest.
Making double what married women make, and follow that by saying that women would rather be single than marry a guy who makes less than $40K a year, which is more than the average woman made in that study. That sounds kind of hypergamous. I mean, even the unmarried men are making more than the married women, and this is men marrying up?
Listen, bro, when I say it can be proven statistically, and I got one stat and he's got another stat, like it warms my heart, bro. It actually warms my heart to know that he just like, it's almost like he knew that I was going to react to this and make that point, but not have it in front of me. And then he puts it in front of me like that, bro. He slaps the steak on my plate and gives me a fork. God, it feels so good. Thank you for the $5, bro. You should play Granny on Steam. Man, I don't know if I'll do a gaming stream, but low-key I might. Low-key I might, bro.
Only metric she wins on is education, but this probably doesn't factor in trade school.
No, yeah, listen, okay, I'll tell you something, all right? I feel like people talk about education because it does play into status, but I don't think a level of education, and this is an obvious take, this is super obvious, I'll tell you this, everyone knows this, but the amount that you are educated, like if you go to college, that doesn't equate to IQ or like actual knowledge, you know? People are college dropouts, people who have never been to college, who probably could outbrain someone who went to college, right? So using that as like a status symbol, you're showing the status with your intelligence, right? But at the same time, it's not really surefire. So let me see the point you were about to make in the video.
Schools or apprenticeships.
I assume you're going to say that, because this is the point that I'm about to make, which is that at the end of the day, intelligence is probably lower. It's probably lower on the list, honestly, than looks and status. Like in terms of what the numbers show, people are going to say no, that's not true. People care more about like personality and intelligence. I feel like the data doesn't show that,
And more
it shows rich and handsome.
importantly, being a college graduate doesn't mean you're smart or have a lot of money. In fact, what I see here is the unmarried men who make more than women are probably in a lot less debt. But if you think that her thoughts on hypergamy was the worst manosphere copycat take, then you haven't heard this one.
Men baby trap women all the time, especially women who have high potential or are already high achieving, high earning women. Men love to baby trap.
It's not possible. How the fuck are we gonna do that? How are we gonna baby trap anything? That's literally not possible. That's not possible.
These women all the time. A lot of bad men will baby trap you.
Wait, how? I need to know how.
Children with you, then disengage.
Oh, okay, so like literally make the kids first. So you had 9 months to think about it. So it's not really a trap if you got 9 months to think about it, right?
Leave, and then use the child to manipulate you and have constant, continuous access to you through the child. A lot of bad men use children to perpetually abuse their ex-partners. And a lot of the times, the court systems help them.
That part is true, because husband will do something shit and then try to avoid the consequences of it by saying like you can't get mad in front of the kids, or like, you know, think about the kids, like that sort of shit. That I understand. I think when she said baby trap, I assumed she meant you're not married to someone, you don't have kids with someone. But like the way I thought baby trap is like a girl pretends that she's pregnant with your kid, so you start like paying attention to her, right? I thought it was a male equivalent of that, which I thought like was like, how is that even possible? You know what I'm saying?
Them do it. The courts help these bad men control their exes' lives.
Great, she's red-pilled on family court. But ultimately, the decision to have a child or not is on the woman, so this isn't trapping.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Even if you were stupid and had unprotected sex with a person that you aren't married to, women can still choose whether or not to take that baby to term, whether a man consents to it or not. The man can't do that, which is why it's called trapping, though I don't see why everyone feels the need to blame the opposite sex. If you have unprotected sex with a person who you aren't in a committed relationship with, then both of you are stupid. Stop creating messed up situations for children.
Now my girlfriend and I are arguing over this. Oh shit, bro. Put me on the goddamn TV. We'll see how heated it gets in that room.
And then blaming each other for it because you wanted to feel slightly better in bed.
Yo, thank you for the dono, bro.
And if you had the kid voluntarily in a marriage but it failed, then that's not baby trapping. That's people picking the wrong partners.
Right.
So I don't think Elle really understands the terms that she's using. But I will say that it literally looks like this chick just watched a bunch of manosphere content, flipped around some of the words, and sold it to women. I mean, this is straight up copycat material.
When you do the exact same work as another woman, you are the exact same as that woman. When you sleep with a man, have relations with a man, it doesn't matter if he's your husband, your boyfriend, your friends with benefits, you're performing the exact same act as an S worker. You are an S worker too.
Did she just...
Hold on a second. Editor, cut out that sniffle. I need to make sure I heard that right. Like, actually, cut this part out where I have to make sure that I hear it right.
You sleep with a man, have relations with a man, it doesn't matter if he's your husband, your boyfriend, your friends with benefits, you're performing the exact same act as an S worker.
But you're not, though, because you're literally not. The act is different because the person is different. Your body is different. It literally cannot be the same act. If the act is using different inputs and outputs, then the everything is different. You know what I'm saying? It's not like if you're building a Lego house, right? But all the colors are supposed to be one way, but you're just kind of using random colors. It's a different house. You can say, no, it just looks different. It's literally different. Like it is. The pieces are different.
You are an S worker too.
Did she just say that all women are prostitutes? This is satire, right? But just in case you had any doubt about this being the female version of the manosphere, then look, she even sells a crappy overpriced course on how to be a YouTuber.
Bro, give it a rest. The business of content creation. Learn how I turn my hobby into a 6-figure business.
Where she brags about how much money she makes, and if you
Oh, bro, let me tell you something. I'll tell you how you turned your hobby into. Wait, first of all, hold on a second. Hobby. A hobby is talking about relationships, I suppose. Interesting hobby, but I mean, fuck it, right? Online money is the method. I'll tell you something, bro. I'll tell you how you turn your hobby into a 6-figure business. All right, you just recorded videos like everybody else, got lucky, and made money on it. All right, I'll tell you that.
a crappy overpriced course on how to be a YouTuber.
I was gonna go into how Manifestel's actually a brokey, but I ran out of time before Christmas vacation. Hey, bro. I don't think she's broke, but maybe she's not as rich as she claims she is.
Where she brags about how much money she makes, and if you pay her $450, which is a sale, guys, so you're getting a deal here.
Oh, this is the biggest scam they always pull. Where everyone does this, bro. All of anyone who's trying to sell you something online that's not a store, it's just a person, it's a guy, bro. Everything is like the $1,000. No, we sale, and it's like $300 now, and it was never $1,000. You know? Does that shit actually work on people? There's no way, right? There's no way someone was like, whoa, shit, I mean, if they're giving me a deal, even though it's still $300 and they came up with the price of it, I gotta buy it though, low key.
It's totally not always on sale, but if you pay her $450, she'll even show you how much money she makes. Except, we already know how much money you make. You said here it's over $100,000. I feel like I just saved people money on part 5. Speaking of each section, I don't know what any of this stuff means on part 4. Everything in part 3 can be Googled in like 5 seconds, as well as most of part 2. Or, alternatively, you can learn how to take blurry photos from Elle with tons of visual noise.
Okay, let's see. Week in the life of a small business owner / creator. Record podcast episodes. Experiment with new content. Okay, I'll tell you something. Like, okay, you know what? Let's just save everyone the $500 or whatever ridiculous price tag she put on the service that she's selling. I'll tell you what she does in her day-to-day life. It's walk to this seat, talk in this mic, upload the video she just recorded. That's the day in the life. It's really not that interesting. I know that it's not that interesting because I live the same life, all right? I just do. I happen to be richer than you, but that's unrelated, okay? Life is still just as interesting. And I'll tell you this, bro. The audacity to charge people for this is a crime. It's just a crime, bro. Like, there's just no universe where that should be something you even consider charging people for, bro. Because I'll tell you something else. Every person that you're friends with, that you've gone to lunch with, you tell them how you do this. You tell them that $500 knowledge for completely free because you got nothing else to talk about, bro. I'll tell you that. That's for damn sure. Do not get it twisted.
So your eye has no idea what to focus on, which is terrible for social media marketing. Really, the only advice here that would be worth any money is script writing and content strategy. But you can learn that stuff for way less than what she's charging. But
the thing is, that's a bullet point on her selling. Like, this is a sales point, or what the fuck am I looking for here? What's the word? Like a selling point, I guess. I don't know. It's a bullet point here. I'll give you some money, bro. I feel like she doesn't even write scripts, you know? Like, am I tripping, Chad? Or I feel like this person just rambles and just yaps like I do. Like, I never written a script in my life, bro. You know what I'm saying, bro? There's just, this is what you add. Like, you guys ever had an essay requirements 500 words? You're at like 400. You had to add some shit. She's just adding points, you know?
These topics are talked about in this masterclass from the writers of Stranger Things, and it's like $10 to get access to it. Also, watch this video from the South Park creators and then buy this book by John Truby. There, I just saved you $400. Speaking of people like Shira7, the whole foundation of this gold digger spoiled girly movement is what they call princess treatment. And if you don't know what that means, let's have Elle define it.
A good man will do his best to make it easy for you. A good man allows you to turn off the chaos in your brain in his presence. Like, the greenest green flag is when you can stop thinking about things. Like, you can just turn your brain off, put yourself in princess passenger mode in his presence. Because he's doing all the thinking, he's doing all the planning, he's doing all of these things.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like infantilization.
I mean, like, am I geeking, or is it just supposed to be the other way around, you know? Like, I feel like for my whole life, I've been made to understand that just the way it is the opposite, you know? Am I tripping, chat? Like, I feel like the way I understand it from, like, everything I've ever known about anything ever is that, like, you have the hard day of work, you need to wind down, and, like, the wife turns off the noise, you know? Bro counter 57, I like to use the word, man. What are you gonna do? I'll tell you that, though. Like, I feel like that's just how this is, and she just, like, flipped it, you know? And I'm not saying what she's saying is, like, wrong or unethical, but I just don't know if it's, like, realistic. Like, you're just supposed to spawn into a woman's life, and then, like, you, after a long day of work, are responsible for now, like, managing her. That just doesn't sound fun, you know? Like, you just gotta, like, just chill out, do your thing, be a good person, you know, watch a movie, kick it. And it's not even like that crazy. You're not even doing that much. It's just someone that it's easy to talk with. It just flows. Person you love, person you like. And I just don't know if it's like, am I like tweaking, or is this bitch like, she seems like miserable though.
It sounds like you want to be treated
Anyways, I would still tap that.
like a child who doesn't have to do anything. Well, a spoiled child who mommy and daddy buy a bunch of useless nonsense for.
Princess treatment is apparently the new status symbol. Purchasing your own luxury items or luxury experiences is no longer the most highest aspirational marker of high status.
She also, at the very beginning of this, told women that they just need to exist, right? So the reward for existing is like Prada bags and birthday cakes and I guess birthday cakes is a birthday cake, so we're not going to count that. But like, we're talking about whatever these TikToks are showing, which is like bags and fucking, I assume, you know, a bunch of flowers, and we got like just gift giving and shit. I'm gonna tell you something, bro. In what world does it make sense to do nothing, as she said, and get a bunch of shit? How does that make any sense? How does that make sense? It doesn't. Do not get it twisted.
Highest aspirational marker of high status. It is now getting a man to get you those things. The luxury items, the luxury experiences.
But like, I would almost bet everything that they've done at least something in return, not just exist.
Great, yet another female influencer telling women that men ain't shit unless they waste money on an ugly-ass Louis Vuitton purse or go on.
This is where Sean loses me. Like, I think this shit's cool, bro. You guys want to see something? I'm gonna show you something, bro. This was a stupid purchase. This was something cool. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you something, bro. Like I worked for it, bro. I don't know, bro. Like, I think it's cool. I don't like the hating on like high fashion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's cool. I think if you have the money and it's just like you work for it and you want something cool for yourself, then you get it.
On vacation 10 times a year. Be real, spoiled girlies. The only reason that you like this design is because they won't let you have this purse unless you're rich. Otherwise, it's ugly.
Yeah. Yeah. Hello.
Or unimpressive. Literally the biggest waste of money ever. It's almost as dumb as Californians paying for a $75,000 house on a $1.2 million plot of land. But getting back to the infantilization part and the part where Manifestel is yet again arguing to be treated like a child or a pet, it's really ironic because I've watched her say this.
Men are not children. Stop infantilizing men.
So it's wrong for women to infantilize men, but it's ideal if men treat women like they're children? How about both partners behave like adults? Now, I do think it's fine to let the woman that you're with sit back and relax as you handle everything. I mean, why wouldn't you want to treat a significant other well? But if she expects you to do that 24/7 while she's spaced out all the time just existing, it gets annoying. Particularly if she combos that with a messed up and unappreciative statement like, "This is the bare minimum you can do for me because just by existing around me, you're draining my resources."
Provider men are the bare minimum, okay? So it is a spoiled girly support group. Provider men are the bare minimum.
Bro, it just doesn't make sense. Like, you can't min-max like a relationship long term. You just can't. She's trying to min-max. If you guys don't know what min-maxing is, it's essentially doing the littlest thing to get the most result, right? Like, this is why I'm streaming again, because streaming is the best form of min-maxing. I only have to go live once for an entire video, right? For the entire length I'm talking on this video, that's actual content. So I'm doing content right now. As I'm moving my mouth, content is being made. I'm doing the bare minimum to make a video that I can post, and I'm getting all the value of it being a long video that makes money, right? And it's a reaction video. That's min-maxing, right? Min-maxing works for YouTube content. It does not work for relationships. You just can't do that. You can't be like, you can't view relationships as like, how can I do the least to get the most out of someone, you know? That's just not gonna work. Either they're gonna get tired of you, or you're, as the person who is min-maxing, gonna realize that you're tired of this, like, and just go on to someone else, you know? It's not gonna be fulfilling. I think she's cute. You think she's cute? That's fine. I don't know if that's relevant, but.
And in the spoiled girly support group, provider men are not status symbols, okay? Like, they're the only men that exist.
By provider man, she means the guy who pays for everything, does all the work.
What's the point of like flexing that you make 6 figures on YouTube if like you're gonna still want a provider man, you know? Just seems a little cringe, low key. Like you're gonna work for all that bread and then you want to be spoiled on top of it. Like what? What?
And waste money on luxury items that are valued by the brand name and not by the design or the quality of the materials.
All right, Sean, you gotta stop shitting on luxury brands, bro. You have to.
So, what a nice way to devalue a man who works hard while
You know what? A matter of fact, Sean, here's what we'll do. At the very end of 2025, we're gonna pool. If you're still in chat, Sean, are you still in chat? We're gonna pool all the money I've ever made from reacting to your content or doing videos about your content. Get that total sum of money I've made, and I'll take like a decent chunk of it. And I'll get you something designer, and you'll love it.
Framing it as a compliment. Hey, you know all that hard work that you did to become rich and successful? That's like D+ bare minimum effort. It's just a passing grade. I mean, for how much she talks about women being treated poorly, she sure has a way of speaking down to men, even the men she labels as good. But great news, guys. I think you'll enjoy the advice from this next clip.
If he offers you a coffee date or a walking date, he wants to take you on a first date to walk you like a dog. A lot of us have been offered coffee dates or walking dates, but it is on us to reject them, okay?
Funny how she mentioned the dog thing as a demeaning standard when she often states that she wants to be treated like a pet. But thanks, Manifestel. You just gave us a cheat code to make sure that we never end up in a relationship with a woman like you.
But I also feel like the reality of the walk and coffee dates, like, first of all, they're chill. Like, I think they're just kind of chill. But I'll tell you this, the reality of why those have become a thing is also to, like, you know, gauge if they're interested. Like, you do understand, by rejecting the walk/coffee date, like, you've just barred yourself from the richest guy. Like, the guy who's going to spend all that money on the first date is just probably not that interested in you, right? Like, that sounds like it isn't true, but he doesn't know you. So the fact that he's doing that shows that it's like, he's just like, whatever, for anyone that I just meet. I'll tell you this as well, bro. The people who are doing walks and coffee dates, sometimes, yes, it's maybe a little wallet friendly, so that's why they do it. But I'll tell you this as well. It's also the guys who have the fuckload of money who are trying to see how you feel about doing something that might be broke passing. Like that, broke passing. And so if you're turning down the coffee walk, what we're saying here, bro, is like, listen, I'm breaded up. I'll tell you something. If you're not down for the coffee and walk, you know, you're not getting the Nobu experience. It's that simple.
Take her out for coffee or a trip to the park on the first date. Personally, I think that spending money on a woman isn't a problem, but leading with money will very likely earn you a stuck-up narcissist. Now, this is not to say
And he does it again.
that L always makes bad arguments. Like I've stated with other creators that I've made videos on, there's a reason why people agree with her and follow her content. It's because there's truth in some of what she says, and it seems like a primary concern from her viewers is that in the past, they've dated losers.
And a lot of women think that by being with a man when he's down and out, when he's financially unstable, by supporting him, paying his bills, buying him a car, paying for rent while he sits home and plays video games, you think that you're helping him out. But this man is not in his purpose.
Yeah, I agree. Women shouldn't date men who don't have jobs or men who are still making minimum wage in their late 20s. There are so many jobs out there that are in demand and pay well, especially in the trades. If a guy is just wasting his life away by playing Fortnite for 12 hours a day, then women shouldn't date him.
Fuck you, Sean. Fuck you. Seriously. Seriously. I could not think of a better day these days. What a... Bro, like, there is not a better day in mind that I have than waking up, just wrap the blanket around me, go to my seat, open up Fortnite. Come on, bro. That sounds fun. Don't date Ninja, he's a loser. I'm blocking you. I'm literally blocking you, bro. Because, like, The fact is, you described probably the most fun sounding day I've heard in so long. Like, bro, just give me a day where I can just grind fucking OG. Oh, that's peak. That's peak. That's literally peak.
And certainly they shouldn't be paying his bills. The second topic I think people like Manifestel have a strong point on is when they talk about traditional marriages and about how much of a vulnerable place that type of relationship can put women in if they choose incorrectly.
I'll tell you something. I think the thing with marriage is like, oh God, bro, listen to me. Ooh, am I getting old or something? I'm 21. Oh yeah, can I get a happy birthday in chat? I turned 21 last week. Anyone wants to wish me a happy birthday? Let me tell you something, bro. I feel like I've said "let me tell you something" like 20 times. I feel like I've just been saying "let me tell you something" like the entire stream. I need to stop saying that. But in the meantime, I'm gonna keep saying. Whew, let me tell you something. With marriage is like, listen, it probably puts women at risk in terms of if they have kids, they're afraid of leaving something bad, but also, you know, you want to talk about, you know, getting half the money or whatever. Bro, XQC, I used him as a reference earlier. I'll use him as one right now. Him losing all his shit or losing his car to adept and stuff like that makes me scared. Like, that does scare me, you know? Losing bread is scary. It is. It just is. Hey... Dur with the $20 donation. Happy birthday. Please close your closet doors. All right. Just because you literally gave me money to do it, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. Why not? Why not? Bro, I kind of can't. Opening again. Okay, I'll be right back. Hold on. Someone's. Give me 1 second. You gotta love when people are like emergency and it's just not a fucking emergency, bro. I did not pause my stream to take a fucking call. It was like,
for years, I lived in $1 million homes. I vacationed all over the world. I spent my...
Oh my god. Wait, is my ass actually like looking that good? Bro, my shit like low-key does not look that good. Like, I see all these memes, like girls talking about their boyfriend's ass looking fat. Like, my ass is just so fucking standard. Like, it's just laughably average.
Summers in Hawaii, I could buy myself $500 jeans, diamond tennis bracelets. We had boats and RVs and whatever I wanted. And it never bothered me once that my financial security was dependent on that man being in love with me. I never realized that him liking me or not liking me or finding me sexy or attractive or interesting determined whether or not my children could eat.
Personally, I think traditional marriages are still better than modern ones, but that doesn't mean there aren't issues. I do think women should be learning how to vet for abusive men and maybe invest time into building a marketable skill that makes you enough to survive just in case, or make sure that you have supportive family members that you can fall back on just in case. Good relationships will always have hedges against abusers or fallouts. And it's important that this is brought up because if you're in a position where your partner is trying to put you...
The thing I don't understand either is, like, I don't know if this chick is, like... It's very interesting. So because she's, like, the other side of the red pill coin, I'm trying to gauge what she actually thinks about marriage. And if I'm correct in my assumption or like prediction, I feel like she'd be anti-marriage as well because like this idea of like not hypergamy, but always wanting more no matter what. That's like the red pill thing where it's like you need like 20 bitches at a time. You can't get married, right? Would there be like a equivalent to her for that? You know what I'm saying? Like Sean, like low key, like what do you think about that? Like, do you think she's saying some shit like if you're not getting princess treatment like all the time, like you got to be out of there, so don't get married, and like men will settle and like they can't settle? Like is that going to be the take here? Manifestel is kind of anti-marriage, but I don't have time to get into it. All right, again, like that's why I'm the GOAT, because like only I could drop a prediction like that and be accurate.
You in a place where they have a
just saying, bro. Like it's okay. Like you don't have to thank me. It's a thankless job.
Has power over you, and they fight for that. Then they are most likely going to be abusive, or at the very least, will be tempted to leverage that power against you. But also understand that this problem is compounded by other things like asshole elites buying up entire neighborhoods so they can artificially increase the price of housing, whether that's to selfishly make more money or purposefully make people more mentally ill by making it too expensive for people to be able to afford to leave abusive relationships. Mentally ill people are very easy to manipulate and control, especially through fear-mongering, and don't think assholes out there wouldn't do this. There's a whole book about it called The Dictator's Handbook that talks about how politicians...
You don't read, though. Like, you don't read.
Do things like purposefully design roads to be inefficient so that people don't have time to protest.
Wait, what?
Be surprised at how much of people's free time you can steal with inefficient traffic lights, inefficient infrastructure, or endless construction. So understand that this problem is a little bit more complicated than one group on the internet pointing the finger at women and one group on the internet pointing the finger at men. And it would be nice if we could stop doing that, so instead we could focus on asshole elites who are pathological.
I do kind of notice that though. Like I'll keep it 1,000. There is a trend of things like not working, but they work enough to where no one's gonna complain. There's a bunch of shit like that. Like I see it everywhere, mostly on websites. So maybe it's not the same like government shit you're talking about, like roads. But why is it that like a lot of websites and like the Apple keyboard, this is a great point. Sam Hyde has made this point. The Apple keyboard barely works. I'm going to just do his bit, okay? I type OMW on my keyboard and it goes, on my way, on my way. I typed OMW. Why does it do that? Hello? You know what? Fuck it. I don't even care. We'll do a video and a video for the reaction, bro. This is how, bro. We're in the goddamn trenches right now, bro. Let me show you something, bro.
Now, when you say you notice the Apple product slides, like I would believe you, but what are the things
keyboard? The keyboard, I would say, barely works. I would say it barely.
You're talking
works.
about MacBooks?
If you listen, and you have to redefine your definition of works. Because people will hear me say this and they'll look at their iPhone and they'll say, mine works.
You're right.
If the thing,
I know you guys have seen this, right?
Yeah.
that makes me so, and it's not funny. I might as well just text her. I'm a. Want a duck?
Yeah.
Want a
That
duck.
makes me so fucking mad, man.
What does it mean?
It doesn't let you type fuck.
It doesn't let you type it?
It fucking autocorrects the fucking shit.
You're joking, right?
And I type OMW and it's for on my way, and it types capital on my way exclamation point.
Oh, so it's got a little bit of a flair.
On my way.
On my way. On my way.
It's so classic. It's literally so classic. Oh man, he nails it, dude. It's a great point. Like, it's not just Apple keyboards. Like, there are websites that, like, why do I have to sign in or make an account on every single website? There's not a single website that I can't just use. I have to make an account. I have to become a member. The only reason this is acceptable is because there's a sign in with Google option that they know I'm going to click because I'm not making an account on this website. I wanted like a recipe for chicken. I don't need to make an account. Why do I have an account here? What does an account mean? It's like you're like a member of this database now. Your information is stored in the cloud for no reason. Are people trying to track me? Is this what this is, man? Like, am I tripping, chat? I feel like there's no point. There cannot be a point to having an account on every single website. Why? Why does there need to be an account on every website, bro? Why? Help me out here, bro. They're tracking you? It's gotta be.
Apologizing society so they can get a few more zeros next to their names or
Real
stay
shit.
in power.
Getting into this whole comparative suffering thing, whether it's black, Asian, white, Chinese, man, woman, all this other stuff, it is most often pointless and counterproductive. You spend more time discussing who suffers more and who suffers less, and less time acknowledging the other person's suffering.
Suffering Olympics.
You're in competition. There's literally no opportunity here for you guys to work together because you're too busy being like, I have it worse. And in order for you to be able to say that you have it worse, you have to discredit the other side. How are you ever going to build?
Speaking of politics and an extreme lack of self-awareness, Manifestel decided to make a video about the 2024 election.
You may have noticed, like, I don't really talk about politics. There's other people better equipped to talk about that, and it's not me, okay? If you are expecting me to, number one, tell you my political ideology, and number two, to push that certain political ideology on you, no, this is not the place for it.
Aw, this is so sweet. She thinks she doesn't push any of her political ideology in her videos.
And this is all because I believe that the patriarchal structures we are under have once again tricked us into being pick-me's for them.
What's funny is that this very ideological...
Like, does that mean anything? Like, I'm chat, like, I keep saying this, but am I tripping? Like, I feel like that just means nothing, you know? Holy word salad. Like, the patriarchal structures have tricked us into becoming pick-me's. The fuck? Like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just here like, what? Because the reality is, if you are a pick-me girl, that was a choice made by you and you yourself. It wasn't because of the patriarchy oppressing you into desiring male attention. Maybe you just wanted the fucking attention you never got as a kid. All right? Are we clear? Thank you. I'm telling you something, bro. Let me tell you something. I'm a little bit sick of it. I'm a little bit sick of the nonsense, you know? Like just the bullshit. Like that's bullshit. I'm kind of sick of it. Like shit like that would be in the same category. If you get what I'm saying. Like you guys following me? You guys picking up what I'm putting down? No kids?
Charged statement is the next thing she says. And I'm supposed to believe that she scripts these videos when she makes optics mistakes like that? I mean, you would have to not watch her content to be unable to figure out where she is on the political spectrum, especially when she throws out stuff like this in most videos.
On top of us living in what some people would call late-stage capitalism, which hot take is literally just capitalism.
Gee, personally, I'm only aware of one group on the internet that uses that term late-stage capitalism. Like, it's a very specific group of people.
It's the reason why people love to emphasize how much they worked hard instead of acknowledging the privileges that gave them a leg up.
Now she's going on about privilege. Are you still having trouble figuring out where L falls in the political spectrum?
Nah, Shauna, I don't agree with this. You can't take the little small slices of what she's saying and extrapolating her ideology. Like, I know what you're trying to do, and I'm going to tell you this. Like, the thing is, you're probably right, but you just can't make the mistake of trying to put her in like a specific box. Like she could surprise us. Like she probably won't, but in general, like the thing is, like if I say a string of things in my videos and I'm like, I'm not trying to be political, but I believe this, this, and this. If someone took me and there's like, oh, this guy's right wing, I'd be kind of pissed off. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you don't know how I feel about all these other things, and you're assigning me to a box where I may fray from the popular belief in a lot of ways. You know, of that side that you've assigned me to. So I don't like that. Content is scripted and I fact check statement before I made it. Listen, bro, I understand that. My point of like saying that these collection of phrases, like, listen, bro, like we know what you're doing here. I don't blame you. She's very radically on the left. Point is, from the clips you just used, you've made that claim. I told you you'd be right. Like if you're right, you're right. But the clips you just used to be like, yeah, she's radically on the left. If someone did that to me with whatever clips I would have, and the clips are not super specific, I'd be pissed, you know?
What if I told you
late stage capitalism is always said by bread tubers? Yeah, but the like you can like retard is always said by like the right wingers. You know what I'm saying? Like you get my point. Like if someone's like, oh, he says retard, he's on the right. It's like, well, you don't know how I feel about abortion. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying, right?
That she's quoted Naomi Wolf in a few videos, uses the term misogyny a lot, and says stuff like natural society was matriarchal until men took society from women and created the patriarchy.
Why does the patriarchy need to be legitimized through these complicated social constructs? It's almost like it's unnatural. Okay, and we talked about it in our God is a Woman class. Like, it is such a deep dive. Holy, my boy. This is going to be a rough one, man. This is just going to be a rough one. I can just tell already. That's the worst when you can tell.
Society from women and created the
Let's run that clip back. Hold on.
Patriarchy.
Why does the patriarchy need to be legitimized through these complicated social constructs?
Like what?
It's almost like it's unnatural.
Wait, like what though? Wait, like actually like what though?
Okay, and we talked about it in our God is a Woman class. Like, it is such a deep dive on the origins of patriarchy and how matriarchy was the default programming of...
Wait, how was it the default if we ended up here? Like...
Of a lot of our societies, and patriarchy literally was so artificial.
How?
And it's caused a lot of problems.
How, though?
Would anyone have trouble figuring out that this chick is on the left? And not just on the left, I mean Elle is very on the left. Using the term late-stage capitalism should be a big red flag for that. Only bread tubers use that term.
Women are waking up to the fact that the least a man can do is pay. They taught us that it is bad to be an entitled, difficult, spoiled gold digger. You know why. It's to police us from demanding our fair shake in this capitalist patriarchal society.
Or it's because it's annoying. But the whole spoiled girly thing must be confusing.
This is rage bait. She is pissing me off. Well, I'll tell you, one of those things is true. The problem is when you say it's bait, you're saying that she doesn't mean what she says in order to get a reaction out of you. I'll tell you this, bro, for a fact, she means every word she's saying. And I can tell, like, 100% she means every word she's saying. You know, you don't get to sell a course on something and, like, to put a price tag of $500 on it if you're not at least a little bit, like, you know, a little bit sure of what you're saying. I'll tell you that, bro. And don't get it twisted for a second. She's very wrong in almost everything she's saying, okay? When she says...
Patriarchal society.
When she says...
From demanding difficult, spoiled gold digger. You know why. It's to police us from demanding our fair shake.
Yeah, when she says that, you know, being anti-gold digger and the way that being a gold digger has been stigmatized is to stop women from getting their fair share, that's just incorrect. That's just wrong, right? That is, like, not true at all. It's because it reduces men to wallets and it reduces women to objects, which is what you've done. You understand? And it's wrong. Not just on a moral level, but like in terms of a practical, pragmatic outcome for both parties. That just doesn't work. You can't view the genders as this way.
In this capitalist patriarchal society.
Or it's because it's annoying, but the whole spoiled girly thing must be confusing because feminist types like her typically see it as demeaning to let a man be the breadwinner and be in control. I really don't understand how a person who constantly preaches feminist ideology could have these beliefs unless her ideology is catered to whatever conveniently benefits her the most.
I don't understand the idea of viewing capitalism as like a bad thing and also at the same time being a like shameless consumer. That to me is a head scratcher, no cap. Like the fact that you're going to say, you know, capitalism is oppressive or what, like she's saying the patriarchy is oppressive and capitalism is like, you know, we're forced to live under this. But yet again, you also want to just consume. And you find the fact that it's generally looked down upon if all you want to do is consume on your partner's dollar as oppressive. Like what? Like isn't that really weird that all you want to do is just buy shit, yet it's like a problem that capitalism is flourishing? You do understand you're the reason why, correct? Like what? Like boycotting is like the exact opposite of what you want to do, yet it is exactly what your side would say for you to do. Or like protest or some shit. You understand how that makes no sense like at all? Am I tripping, chat?
Most, instead of being catered to any kind of moral consistency, which is very much the move of a radicalized person. So when I say she's very on the left, I mean that she is very on the left. Like woke radical leftist echo chamber, where she never listens to opposing ideas.
First of all, men are not allowed in the comments, okay? Y'all are not allowed. This is not your space. The rest of the internet is your space.
That is awesome.
This is the spoiled girly support group. Men are not allowed. I've been hearing this sentiment
That's great.
about how
we need to hear people out and have all these conversations with different types of people.
No, like I don't need to talk to like people that I don't want to talk to. I don't need to talk to people who argue from bad faith. I don't need to do this and that. Like, I don't need to do anything, okay?
Yeah, I can tell that you never listen to opposition because so many of the things that you say are complete nonsense. Only someone who never looks at criticism would say these things. Again,
this is the craziest thing to me, bro. The craziest thing is like when it's like real shit, bro. I'm gonna tell you something, and this is gonna be one where you're gonna like recline in your chair once you realize that like you haven't thought about this yet while we've watched, and the fact that I'm gonna plant this seed in your brain right now, you're gonna be like, oh shit, how did I not? Imagine the relationship with her father. There's just no way they get along. There's just no way they get along. It's not possible. I can't look at this content. I don't want to ad hom. Okay, you know what? Fuck that. I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do that. However, at a certain point, we're 20 minutes into this. I've been reacting for give or take an hour. At a certain point, like it took you saying men are not allowed in the comments. You know, then I was like, wait, this does not pass the smell test. Then I was like, hold on a second. There is a chance that like you just don't get along with men at all. You know what I mean? This Sigma male shit for girls.
It's so hard to believe that someone is unironically saying this that it sounds like satire. This is exactly what South Park was making.
She said her relationship with her father is really good. I believe her because she wouldn't lie.
Fun of.
If you do not like me, you are not allowed in my safe space.
And by the way, it's not just no men in the comments, it's also nobody who is not a spoiled girly is allowed to comment on my videos either.
And as a reminder, only spoiled girlies are allowed in the spoiled girly support group, and it's a support.
I'm gonna say something super disrespectful, and I hope you guys are ready for it, bro. This is gonna be the most disrespectful thing I've said in all this time. Yeah, simply put, spoiled girly treatment. I'm gonna just say this. You probably got to look at least a little bit better than this to be getting spoiled girly treatment. I'm not saying that as a model. I'm not saying that as a 8 out of 10. I'm probably a 6, right? You do not get to say spoiled girls only in the comment section when you are slightly above average. You don't. You just don't. You just don't. And it's also the one who thinks that you deserve it all for just existing. I'm going to tell you that. That's delusional. Delusional!
Support group, not debate class.
Not debate class. I'll tell you something else. You're cooked. Understand?
Girlies are allowed in the spoiled girly support group, and it's a support group, not debate class.
That's hilarious. It's literally the Safe Space song from South Park in its entirety, even using similar wording.
People that support me, mixed in with
As I said before, this chick has no self-awareness, which I'm sure has nothing to do with her insistence on never listening to people who disagree with her. And what I mean by that is that during the politics video, she's like, I used to be a dumb woke person who would have been in those TikTok compilations of people freaking out because Trump won, but I've changed now.
This isn't my first rodeo, okay? Like, I was in the trenches, protesting, walking, chanting, making signs and posters. Like, I was mad. And honestly, I'm so thankful that I didn't have TikTok back then, because I'd be in these compilations. Honestly, like, these compilations that they make on TikTok to make fun of women in pain and women who have been manipulated to be so emotionally dependent on a patriarchal structure. So
They're in pain. They're in pain.
so much so that
Why do you say that like they're like a dying dog, you know? Just like a sick animal.
it sends them spiraling when things do not go their way politically. Like, these are women in pain, and it's so upsetting to see that this has been done to them. And like I said, I am
They've been put in a compilation video. This is the crazy thing. Like, I don't understand how you can say like infantilizing men is the move, but then you also go on to infantilize grown fucking women who post crying videos to TikTok because Trump won the election. Like, these people, like, by doing that, you're gonna get put in a compilation, and then you're the sympathy that you're extending to them as like they're in pain and they need, you know, whatever the angle here is just crazy to me. It's just crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? And like, compilation video of all things is like, it's literally it's just compiling the clips, you know? It's just taking a bunch of clips of people freaking out and just putting it out there. The compilation itself isn't shitting on them, you know, it's just the comments, of which, because the internet is democratized, they're gonna voice their opinion. I'm gonna just tell you that. Just put that out there.
so passionate about this because I was these women.
I love how she plays the victim here and says, these poor women melting down because their political candidate lost. Weren't these people also saying that their political opponent should have been assassinated and made TikToks lamenting about how the shooter missed? I have no sympathy for these people. If you don't want people clipping you, then don't post shit on the internet. They're adults and they're responsible for their own actions. Stop playing the victim card and infantilizing them.
At this point in time, I was turning into an easily triggered person. I was becoming hateful. I was looking down on people for the very same behavior I was engaging in. And every time something happened outside of my control, the wrong person got voted in, you know, whatever, it would send me into a spiral, okay?
You know what else is crazy now that I think about it? I don't understand how you're going to give people YouTube advice, but you are actively disincentivizing engagement in the comments section. Like, people leaving comments boosts videos in the algorithm, and she told men that they're not supposed to comment, and girls that aren't spoiled girlies aren't allowed to comment. These are people that you should be begging for comments from, because that will boost your video in the algorithm. Like, I'm so confused. How can you claim to know anything about YouTube when you literally tell your audience to do the exact opposite thing that would result in you getting more views and engagement? Like, how does that make any goddamn sense? How does it make any sense at all, bro? Like, use your brain for more than 5 seconds and you realize this person is not only not qualified, but is the least qualified to give YouTube advice. Like, I could ask someone who's 8 years old and who has watched like Nick A30 live streams for Fortnite, and they'd probably have a better idea of how this works than she does. No cap. That's why we're gonna see a bunch of new gen streamers pop out of like nowhere. I'm just gonna tell you that, bro.
Like, I was catastrophizing, worrying, and just having these intrusive, like, what if XYZ bad thing happened thoughts. It also makes me so sad that other women are still being turned into that, okay? It's still happening to women all over the country, especially young women. And I have done so much to heal from that.
Elle, how exactly did you change? Sure, you might not be flipping out because Trump won the election again, but you still exhibit all the same pathological behaviors that the average wokey does. What do I mean by that? Well, why don't we talk about it?
I always get accused of instigating a gender war between men and women.
Gee, I wonder why people would accuse you of this. Maybe it has something to do with you moving into man-hating ideology right after you said that.
Oh, this is so divisive. Like, why are you so bitter? Like, you know you're doing more harm than good.
Okay, I don't need to do that. Okay, I don't need to start a fake gender war online. You know why? Because we're already at war. Women and children are already being harmed by the male population.
Okay, so instead of saying that she is not fueling the fire and the divisiveness, she just leans into it, which I kind of I kind of respect that she's not denying the fact that she's divisive. She's just saying why it has to be divisive. So at least that's a little consistent. I gooned to you, Acheeto, and the guy's name is Acheeto #1 Gooner. Hey, I'll give you a heart, honestly, bro. Like, why not? You know what I'm saying? Throw me some pounds, I'll throw you a heart. How about that, you know?
Violent crime has a male problem. Child SA has a male problem. Mass unalivement has a male problem. When do we start talking about our male problem?
Well, if you're going to be openly sexist, then why stop there? Why not break these problems with violent crime down by race? And if framing it like that makes you a bigot, then saying, we need to talk about the male problem is just as messed up. Now, I've watched a number of the gold digger videos over the past couple years, and I have never seen—
I also don't understand saying mass unalivement in the same, like, tone of the things that are, like, evil. You get what I'm saying? Like, child exploitation is evil, doing crime and murder is evil, but then, like, taking your own life is just, like that's just depression. Like, that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, how does that even fit in the same sentence of those two things? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that doesn't make any sense at all. Like, in what world do you compare that to the other two things? You know what I'm saying? I feel like it just doesn't make sense.
One of them spread radicalized man-hating ideology as often as Manifestel does. Maybe the Wizard Liz had a bad video or two that I would say possibly counts as sexist. Possibly. Anna Bay is like a fashion YouTuber now, so she doesn't count. And Shira7 is often really funny when she talks shit about men. So actually, I don't really care about the things that she says because it's just comedy.
I've been with him 4 years and we still ain't moved out or have a ring, and currently he has no job. Then you a prisoner.
Huh.
You've been kidnapped by a broke man.
I mean, I don't like her
That
morals,
is
but she is
awesome.
funny.
It is
That
funny.
being said, Manifestel spreads man-hating vitriol in at least half of the videos that I watched. She straight up has mantras designed to make women hate men.
Men are inherently labor and they are inherently risk. I always tell you.
Wait, what? That is the most, like, capitalist thing I've ever heard.
Men are inherently risk. Men are inherently labor. Men are still labor and men are still risk.
Now, I don't think I've ever seen her explain this because she uses a bunch of insider language designed to make outsiders not understand what she's talking about, which totally is not something that radicalized cults do. I mean, she clearly has read the How to Make a Cult section of the 48 Laws of Power, as she—
Okay, no, she hasn't, though. Like, that isn't true. No, of course not. Bro, come on.
She has her spoiled girly support group that doesn't allow dissenting opinions, and
she's too stupid for this, you know what I'm saying?
the narcissistic belief that her group is—
There's just a lot of stupid people. They attract each other. You know, I don't know if there was a study group session done to analyze the laws of power and utilize this to form a cult audience. I just think she's dumb.
better than other people. A number of cult tactics are being used
She
here.
actually has read it.
But I think by
Okay.
labor, she means that men have the crazy expectation of women
That is not the first time I've been compared to Soda Poppin'. People think I kind of look like him.
having to do work in the relationship. And by risk, she means that men are violent. She also says this a lot.
If you're new here, the freebird theory is our theory that men like to cage free birds. They like pursuing women who have things going for themselves, are on the cusp of something great, are on the precipice of making a name for themselves, and these men trap these women, essentially caging the free bird. And the freer the bird, the higher the bird flies, the more satisfying the takedown.
I have no idea what this means.
Yeah, like, I feel like there's such a benefit to making shit up because when it's all made up and none of it's real, you can just keep stacking up bullshit on top of it, right? Like, if you're already existing in a fantasy world that you control, you can just spawn in bullshit that helps you in this made up world that you already control. Does that make any sense? Like, the free bird theory is a theory that I just made up, and there is no actual backing to this at all. And hear me out here, right? One of her things she says in that theory, this is crazy to me, right? I think I'll take it back. You know, I said that there was no basis to it. There is a basis to what she said when she said that men like women that have things going for them. I think that is a general trait that anybody looking to get into a relationship with anybody, regardless of their sexuality or gender, they probably want to date someone who's not a fucking loser. That's what I've gathered. But then to take that and then run with the idea that this ties into a theory about how men want to take down women and they get satisfied from the takedown. I feel like that's not, how it works at all.
I've never seen this in real life. Like, I'm sure there's a person
Yeah, can we time out the gooning shit?
on TikTok who has a story, but this is not a common thing. Men aren't just out there thinking, this woman's about to become a CEO, I can't wait to cage her and ruin her dreams. And her examples for stuff like this are usually celebrities, so I don't think she has the strongest grasp on reality. Understand that she's describing traditional relationships here, so I also think that she thinks that traditional relationships are inherently pathological, as she very frequently calls them indentured servitude, and completely undermines the fact that men also have to work incredibly hard to make those relationships work, especially in the modern economy. But as I said, this chick has no ability to see stuff from other people's perspectives or self-reflect, so she'll say stuff like this.
It is a trend that comes up time and time again. Like literally in history, it comes up time and time again. And it's the objectification to dehumanization pipeline, which usually ends up almost always in the harming, unaliving, enslaving, and colonizing of said dehumanized and objectified people.
Get it? It's ironic because she objectifies and dehumanizes men all the time.
Just by existing with a man, you have value and you are being mined for your...
I just don't think that what she described is happening. Okay, when you say that people are being dehumanized because they were objectified, and then it's just like you just said it, and then there's just no example or proof or like even a general societal a priori consensus, meaning like you don't have to prove it because it's so common knowledge, right? I can't take it seriously at all. You know what I'm saying? Am I tripping? Like, hear me out, right? If I say, like, listen, chat, the sky is blue, and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense, you know, like that's what I've heard, that's what I've been told, that's what I've seen. Okay, like, makes sense. But then when you go on to say this, right, that the objectification turns into dehumanization, which is like, that's like how it happens, or like what is happening? It's just like, I need something. Like, what does that look like? What does it sound like? You know, what, like, can we get some, like, if I told you a duck quacks, you know, and it's got a beak, I could probably find a duck if you gave me enough time. I just don't know what this is, so therefore I couldn't find it, I can't agree with it, it just makes no sense.
Your value. And the least men can do is pay.
I want someone to make a counter for how many times she objectifies men in her videos for their money and just sees them as a wallet. And speaking of dehumanization, Elle constantly dehumanizes men to make us seem psychopathic and evil.
Men love free birds. Like, they take pleasure in you giving up something to be with them.
What kind of men are you dating? Again, this is not a common thing.
I mean, I suppose that only exists in, like, you know, like cuffing, right? It's like, okay, you know, we're dating now and you can't see other people. Like that counts, but that's just like with any relationship. The exclusiveness, unless you're like in an open relationship, but like, you know, we're talking to like normal humans here.
The only person who would think this is common is a person who got all their relationship knowledge from TikTok.
Always see older women in their 80s and 90s saying what has kept them going for so long. They said they stayed single. Men make us miserable.
This comment piqued my interest. Are women really living longer and happier lives without men? And the answer is yes.
Yeah, this is like incel content for women. It's hard to imagine any self-respecting man dating someone who hates men so much that she would frame them in this way in so many videos. The minute he sees her saying stuff like this, he's out.
Men have not kept up with the times. They still have this entitlement towards women, and they are disrespecting women even more. They are scamming women even more. They're hurting women even more. They're unaliving women even more.
And now we're a bunch of killers? Unaliving women even more is a strange claim because murder rates have been trending downward for the past 30 years, and only spiked up a little bit during the COVID years when mainstream media was openly encouraging rioting.
Right. Listen, the reality is, I find it strange that, like, okay, you just cannot, on one hand, say that a TikTok comment made you think, like, are women really living longer and happier lives without men? But also, the entire precipice of your channel is the spoiled girls club. Like girls who get spoiled by men, which would make you happier, which is a result given to you only by interacting with men. So that's just the most contradictory shit that, like, listen, I'm not a genius, but like the fact that you go on to say like, no man, that's good. Spoiled by men, that's better. You can't have both. You just can't. Like, I'm not tripping. I know that for a fact, you know? Like what?
But now that that's over, you can see them trending down again. And the rates of female homicide follow the same trend. You would think that Elle would have looked that up before she put that statement in her video.
No, she wouldn't.
And what I mean by that is that she's given the sentiment that men are becoming more violent in multiple videos but apparently has never taken a few seconds to actually look that up to see if it was true.
But they're also like not. Like it's just not true. Like the graph you showed proves this to be not true. It has gone down drastically. So I just don't know how you spread complete fucking falsehoods like this.
Do you not see how saying this kind of stuff is dehumanizing towards men? And
well, it's not that it's just dehumanizing. It's the fact that like I think the way that it is dehumanizing is because it's not true. Like if you make lies about someone, if you nonstop spam something that is not true about somebody or a group, then you're utilizing nonsense to create a false narrative, and that's dehumanizing. Like if I'm here saying something super racist, right? And I'm using fake shit to be racist, right? That's even worse. Does that make sense? Like I'm utilizing nonsense to spread the dehumanization.
Might make your audience feel that violence towards men is justified.
Well, here's the thing: is that I feel like any time that I have people on the internet that act like that, there is like basically there's 3 words: unresolved personal trauma. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like somebody goes on the internet and they got problems with another group of people. I'll tell you the reason why. It's because you don't have problems with men, you have problems with your dad. You know, you don't have problems with women, you have problems with your ex-girlfriend. That's what it is every fucking time.
Their opinions are a product of their own anecdotal evidence.
And then on the internet, they meet 100,000 other people who think the same thing, and they're like, oh, it's true.
Yeah, really. I couldn't have said it better myself. Now, a regular viewer of Manifestel might say, but she says hashtag not all men.
With that being said, I know that there are plenty of good men out there, plenty of emotionally intelligent, emotionally stable men. My reality is populated by good men. And obviously there's a lot of good fathers out there. I know a lot. I'm surrounded by them.
Wow, great. Congrats. Where exactly are these men? You spend all of this time demonizing men or men asterisk, but you basically never show examples of men doing good things. You never discuss good points or good criticisms they have, and you never show any compassion or any empathy for men who are going through difficult times.
That's another point I was gonna make. Like, I feel like the non-stop me spoiled princess treatment stuff is like, well, what happens if this guy gets like COVID? You know, like what if he's just like sick? Like, what if he's just in bed for a day? You know what I'm saying? I got sick recently. Like, let me tell you something, bro. Regardless of if he's making $1 million a year or $1 million a week, when you get sick, you're getting sick. You can't move, you know? And it's like, is that when you tap? Like, I feel like at a certain point, it's not the unrealistic expectation of the spoiling, which is unrealistic, but it's the idea that, like, they should, be able to transcend, like, the shackles of being a human to spoil you, you know? Like, you can never get sick, you can never sleep, just me all the time. Which is just crazy, bro. It's just crazy.
Not only that, but immediately after the comment about good fathers, she says something demeaning about men, and then says, if you question me, then you must be a violent piece of shit.
But whenever we talk about these things, that's why I say men asterisk. Okay, the asterisk means malicious below bare minimum effort men. And if you feel hit by that, if you're like a hit dog hollering about, oh, not all men. Why do you empathize with that? Why do you empathize with the malicious below bare minimum effort men? Not all men. Okay, why do you feel hit? Does this apply? Does the shoe fit? Annoying.
Are you really going to say that? You made a whole video about how you were offended because of a comment someone made, generalizing a group of women.
On today's episode, we are talking about what happened on a certain podcast. One of the podcasters, Esther, out of the blue, literally unprovoked, made this claim.
You guys, okay, I'm gonna say something kind of wild, but it's because I saw it somewhere. Someone said that the reason why some girls are tighter than others is because... Used. Huh? No. It has nothing to do with that. They said that it's because, like, ethnicity-wise, like black men have, are known to have larger, so therefore the women have that makes sense. Bigger holes.
Now, if your jaw was on the floor, join the club. Obviously, what Esther said is absolutely despicable, absolutely atrocious. Like, I need more synonyms to convey how terrible it was.
Should I assume that you sleep around a lot because you were offended by that comment? Why are you so triggered? Does the shoe fit? Are you a bad woman? Now, obviously...
I low-key just kind of, like... it's just stupid more than anything, you know? Like, I mean, this is one of those things where I feel like if you're trying to call it racist, you're trying to call it racist because you're jumping the gun and assuming that everyone else is going to as well, and you want to be the first to say it to get like the points, you know? I don't know if anyone actually thinks that that's racist, you know? Am I tripping? Like, I don't see that, and I don't even really understand how you could view that as something other than like a misunderstanding or like a false assumption, you know? That was a crazy take. Yeah, it's wrong. I don't know if it's like I guess when I assume like, you know, racism and stuff, like I always just think hateful. I don't know if that's hateful. It's probably, I mean, her logic kind of made sense. It's like big input, big output. Shit, I don't know, bro. I mean, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying like, I kind of get how her brain made that conclusion, you know, from a point A to point B. Thought discovery.
That would be a stupid assumption because it's okay to be upset when someone negatively generalizes a group that you belong to. If someone says, women bad, it does not make you a bad woman to be mad about that generalization. People's outrage isn't always a projection. So I agree that Esther's comment about female anatomy was stupid, but the most astronomically ironic thing about Manifestel being upset about all this is that Manifestel almost constantly compares men to rapists, murderers, child abusers, and psychopaths.
Well, there you go.
And she's offended by a little anatomy comment that was in poor taste? So I don't really care if you say, hashtag not all men. You're still going to radicalize your audience because they've never experienced good examples of men through your content. Particularly...
well, I mean, if all you do is constantly shit on them, like, that's, I just think, so much more damaging than what the girl said about, you know, the private parts. Like, I'm just telling you, like, that in terms of damage that's been done to more people, that attitude you've put into the brains of everyone who's watching your content is just more destructive. It just is in every way. And if it's not, then please tell me how, you know?
You say on a regular basis that anyone who criticizes your extreme beliefs is acting in bad faith or is being a no nuance Nelly. It would be like if a person had a social media account where he shows crime footage, but he only shows black people committing the worst and most disgusting crimes.
Yeah.
Is he suddenly exonerated of spreading racial hatred if he writes hashtag not all black people on every post? Because that's essentially what Manifestel does.
It's a great point.
It's like her little sexism get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
You don't believe the way she speaks?
If the only problems you ever point out are with men and you're only ever taking issue with men on your YouTube channel, you then going to say not all men holds very little weight because it literally is all men based on your content. Like if all you've talked about is men, but then you go on to say something that contradicts the very premise of your entire channel, it doesn't make any sense now, does it, right?
Speaking is a problem? Well, this is how race relations were in the 1990s before BLM.
What do you think of white people?
White people, they straight, you know. They just like me, you know. Okay. They straight, just, you know, they just stay white and we black, you know.
To me, nothing wrong with white people. I love them just like I love the blacks. Ain't nothing wrong with the people by their color.
Human, just like me. I'm black, just a different color skin, that's about it.
Right. But you find there's a difference?
I always get, bro, it's always so crazy to me to watch these videos. Like, I see these every now and then, and it just is so crazy how things have changed. Like, I just feel like there's just so much more tension. Everything just feels so loose in the video. Like, the energy is just so much better. And, like, I think it's gotten better since 2020, but real shit, like, it's just, seeing this is like, wow, you know? It's just nice. It's just refreshing, you know? It's like, yeah, it's laid back. Like, everyone's just mellowed out on the subject. There's like no tension. Like everything's so tense. It's those damn phones, bro. Maybe.
You're treated by white people as opposed to black people?
Well, you know, they haven't treated me wrong in no kind of way.
Never?
Never. I ain't never had no static with no white person.
This is how society was when I was growing up. I remember this. Nobody had a problem with each other until like 2014. And now, this next clip is what race relations are like
Sean?
after a bunch of Marxists spread anti-white propaganda, not unlike what Manifestel says about men.
So all the white people here, y'all got work to do. Stay the fuck out of black people business. Go in your neighborhood and do the anti-blackness work in there. I don't need your opinion. I don't need no Marxist bullshit. Okay. I can read black Marxism on my own.
I mean, it's so bad that I've watched over 30 of her videos,
Jesus
actually
Christ,
probably closer
bro.
to 40 at the time
I was born in the 1900s. No, you were not.
of recording, and I was only able to find a single example of her saying positive things about men, and it was basically just men who were on her ideological team following a TikTok trend that she liked.
Like, yeah, like...
So, congrats. Real tough one there to praise someone who already agrees with you. She also praised this guy here from a comment, but she only agrees with him because he was crapping on men, which still makes her a sexist, so I don't count that. And she praised this guy who spent a bunch of money on a chick, but she deleted that video for some reason, so I'm not going to count that. She actually deletes a lot of her content. In fact, a couple of days after I began doing research on her, she deleted over a third
That
of
actually seems strange. Like, this seems like the kind of person that is, I think, very, like, not know-it-all, but, like, so firmly heels dug into what they believe in everything that there would never be a chance something gets deleted, you know? Like, I think the fact that, like, she's deleting videos, like what could possibly be the reason for that, you know what I mean?
her videos, going from 75 videos to 48.
What? Where'd they go? What could be said in this?
Now, I can understand if you had a bad take that you no longer agree with,
but,
or you got
but half the content? Like...
an important piece of information wrong and you want to memory hole that.
What was that?
What creator hasn't?
Maybe copyright? I mean, like, I just don't know. I feel like that you, like, make a 48-minute video, 48-video mistake.
Done this. But to delete over 3 million views or a third of her channel in one day is kind of extreme. Why did she do that? Well, apparently she does it frequently, according to Tree of Logic, who's watched her longer than I have.
Hold on. Let's see. Which one was it? She is known for deleting videos. She did a video on that black woman and got that wrong. And she deleted that video. But there was a video she did before this one, and it was so bad. I was like, girl.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, at a certain point, I think specifically with this person, like, they've made it so clear that they don't want negative criticism. They don't want people that are just going to, you know, disagree. Like, didn't she literally say, like, if you're going to be disagreeable, don't leave a comment, right? And so it's weird to me that if that's the standard you're going to hold, then you're still going to delete videos, you know? Because, like, if the videos are gone, but when they were up, you still weren't listening to criticism, then what's the point of deleting them if you're afraid of criticism? Because, like, you weren't afraid of getting it when it was up there because you just weren't going to read it, right? If you're not going to engage with criticism when it's up, then what's the point of taking it down? That makes sense?
Oh, come on, girl. Do some research. Yeah, she took that video down.
Fortunately, I've been doing this for a while, so I save everything I take notes on. Otherwise, this would have been a much less interesting video. But the point is that saying #NotAllMen is not good enough if you don't regularly humanize them to give the audience an experience with men doing things correctly. In fact, she actively argues against talking about what a good man is.
Here's the thing.
Probably one of her family members found the videos, she deleted them, but she's a grown-ass woman. Like, this is how she makes her money. Like, I just don't understand, like, what... Like, they know that she lives on her own, right? Like, they know that she makes money doing YouTube.
I think, too, I get asked this a lot. Well, what should we look for in a man? Like, give me a bullet point, a list, like, check. Like, number one, we are not giving men a step-by-step of how they can pretend to be the person that we like. Don't give them a layout of what you want, okay? Just observe what they do for you. And if you want them to do more of something, reward it positively.
What a great civil servant.
That is just so crazy. I honestly wasn't expecting that take from her because I thought she would be like the opposite, just like tell him exactly what you want and what you need, and if he doesn't do it, then you leave. Like, I feel like just trying to feel it out seems very like against what she wants. You know what I mean? Like, she seems like she wants a certain type of things very specifically, and the idea that she's going to go into something and her suggestion to people who are going to follow in her footsteps is to not specifically know what they want and just kind of feel it out. Like, that does not really seem what she's about. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like she seems like she gets into the relationship and has like a checklist and a clipboard with shit she checks off and demands. And if it, you know, if all the boxes aren't checked, she's out of there, bro. And just like that doesn't make any sense. This is so inconsistent. Not in like a, I don't know what I'm trying to get out of here, but it's just like inconsistent. Like I feel like she doesn't even know what she wants or even believes in dating. Like, I don't even know. I don't think it's bad faith. I just think she actually doesn't know. You get me? I just dropped something. I straight up just think she just doesn't know.
I want men to act a certain way, but I won't tell them what I want. They just have to guess and hope they get it right so I can positively reinforce.
She literally, she doesn't even think she's being inconsistent, bro. She's just so wishy-washy on all of this stuff. I'm willing to bet she just comes up with the rules or like the standards for each video before she records. Honestly, it like depends how she's feeling.
it, and if they don't get it right, I'm going to be quietly fuming at them for something I never communicated that I wanted. You must be excellent at conflict resolution in a relationship.
You guys are so entitled that even the idea of asking is offensive to you. And then when you don't ask and you don't get what you didn't ask for, then you complain about it on a podcast. It's crazy.
They don't talk.
Bitch, use your words.
They don't talk.
Use your fucking words.
They don't talk, but they want a man that communicates. That's wild to me.
Now, a part of the Manifestal brand is that she's the spoiled girlie who goes into the research. I mean, not that she actually does that, but it's how her viewers see her. And she has a real degree, sort of, because she graduated in, like, biology or something. So she puts a lot of research on screen to make it look like she's well-read.
But she didn't with half the stuff that you were saying that she was saying, right? Like all the clips you used of her where she's giving stats, she doesn't use any of them. Like the important times where these stats matters, she just doesn't use them. I don't understand this person at all. Ah, man, like give it again, like to have someone like this also selling a course is so audacious. Like, the videos are bad. The way that she's telling the audience to engage with the videos is bad. The message is bad. I mean, she's just not cut out for this, to keep it a buck, bro. To keep it a whole buck.
But allow me to caution you, because that is often a red herring, as I have found while making videos, that an uncomfortable amount of people do not actually read the research that they use for their videos, including multiple doctors. So what I see with Elle is a very lazy demeanor when it comes to research, while trying to maintain the reputation of someone who is a good fact-checker. It's not just the critical thinking fail or the failure to clarify with the study that she used to make her point about hypergamy, or the fact that she talks...
Well, I think the thing with this stat, this is the one time she used a graph. Like, the thing with this is that it doesn't even prove the point she was trying to make, and we went over this already, right? So it's like, the idea that you are looking at the... like income, right? And viewing this as like the only way in which hypergamy can take place is either narrow-minded, like because you're trying to make a point and you're ignoring it, or you are like just wrong. I don't know.
A failure to clarify with the study that she used to make her point about hypergamy, or the fact that she talks about homicide in multiple videos without showing the actual statistics. But Elle also very frequently cites secondary sources, which are like magazine articles about a study, instead of the original source material. This is a problem, particularly when...
Yeah, I mean, just citing a headline as, like, that's the source is a little crazy, to be
complex
honest.
things are being studied, instead of simple demographics. This often causes her to make stupid claims like this.
I am so passionate about this because of the effects of all this invisible labor on women, and especially women's health. Studies have found that an imbalance in household labor is associated with poor...
What is this?
And especially women's health. Studies have found...
Women handle 75% of all unpaid labor.
...that an imbalance in household labor is associated...
Women's health pays the price for the unpaid labor, such as standing to cook, bending over to clean or do laundry. Okay, so this is the normal trade-off for like a relationship though, right? Am I tripping?
...associated with poor health, and domestic work has been linked to pain in
like
the
this
neck,
is normal, like cooking, like standing while cooking. Like, what are we doing?
back and shoulders, and even cardiovascular disease.
You've got to be kidding me. Housework causes heart disease?
Yeah, like actually, what are we doing?
Where does that claim come from? Because I didn't see it in anything she sourced. That article was about chronic injury, and if we're going to have a pissing contest about that, then may I point out that over 90% of workplace deaths are men. You think...
Yeah, like actual work, like the stuff that you get paid for. I feel like saying unpaid labor, and then it's like the labor is you cook. And it's like, the thing is with that, is you're likely, if you're cooking, like for your husband, you're also including yourself in the thing you're cooking. Like you're going to make an extra, you know, like you're going to make enough pasta for the both of you. So it's not like it's just labor for the point of labor, right? Or if you're doing laundry, it's for you and your husband. So you're still getting something out of it, you know? You know, it's not labor to, and also like unpaid labor. Using the word labor, I think implies that it's going to be like there's this strict structure around the thing that you have to do. Like actual labor, you have to clock in, clock out, abide by a certain amount of rules, stay focused. You know, you can't slack off, whatever. Whereas with this sort of stuff, you can do all those things, you know? Like you can take a break from cooking. You can order out, you know, or order in, I should say. You can, you know, like take a break from cleaning to lay down. It's unpaid because it's not like, you know, it's like, it's chores. Unpaid labor is like a weird way to just say doing chores as an adult, I feel like, you know? Oh, good point. I should have said that because a lot of these chores are mutually beneficial that you would have to do anyway. Exactly. Like, once you get into a relationship, like the stuff you were doing before, you're still doing. Like you know, you had to cook before you had a husband. You know what I'm saying? And like to say like 75% of women are doing this is just crazy, because like when you say cooking, the standing while you're doing while cooking, you're unironically doing the same amount of standing for cooking that you were doing before you were in a relationship. Maybe laundry, you're doing a bit more moving, but with cooking, you're literally doing the same amount of standing.
Men don't get injured doing their jobs too? Anyway, even though she will sometimes go, air quote, deeper into the data, though she seems to frequently just quote the summary of the study, but when she does go deeper, she often uses those results to fearmonger the audience into thinking that traditional men want to kill their wives.
What are family annihilators?
Well, it's also the idea of thinking that when you are standing up for cooking enough times that you're going to get a fucking heart disease. Like, that is crazy. That's a crazy thing to make people afraid of happening.
It would seem to have been Dietz, 1986, who first coined the term family annihilator. He described the family annihilator as usually the senior man of the house who is depressed, paranoid, intoxicated, or a combination of these, and noted that he may commit suicide after unaliving the others or may force the police to unalive him. It is also clear that family annihilation, as well as spree or serial murder, is an overwhelmingly male preserve.
So I looked up the actual statistics for murder by...
So is the goal here to just make people schizo of potentially being like hurt in a relationship? This is just like, this is getting to a point where this isn't, you're not even viewing men as wallets. You're viewing men as just a perpetual threat that you have to be afraid of at all times, right? Like the only for her to then go and say like, oh, not all men, right? To try to make it seem like she hasn't completely poisoned the well and is not doing this in bad faith is hysterical. When you look at the fact that she's only bringing up murder rates and statistics about like homicide and shit to make the point that it is all men and that you should be afraid of men. It's like so crazy. There's no plausible deniability here for her at all. Yet she's gonna act like she can, try to squeeze a little bit of some. If it's just so shameless, bro. It's just shameless. You know what I'm saying? And the idea that this is like the thing that you as a person looking to get into a relationship should actually fear is just so dumb. You should be afraid of things that actually will happen, like cheating, Make sure you're dating someone loyal. Make sure, or make sure you actually like get along with the person, or that they're not, or make sure that they're over their ex. Like shit that actually matters. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, bro.
An intimate partner. And this study from 2021 said that 4,970 women were homicide victims versus 17,970 males. 34% of women were victimized by an intimate partner, which comes out to 1,690. For comparison, according to this graph, in that same year, 12,135 women were killed in car accidents, which means you are roughly 7 times more likely to die from a car crash than you are by an intimate partner.
Right.
Manifestel majored in a STEM field, right? So I'm sure that she understands math. So why doesn't she mention how dangerous it is to be around cars?
Well, because unfortunately the market for, women that dated a bad car is very low. Whereas the market for women who have dated a bad man is extremely lucrative. I'll tell you that, bro. The moment that cars are the new exes, we will be seeing this.
We're trying to protect women, right? Also note that considering that men are over 3 times more likely to be victims of murder than women, it's probably best to categorize these by total number of victims and not by percentage if you want an accurate picture of this problem. So if you do these categories by the total number of victims, it turns out that the actual number of people who were victimized by intimate partners is 1,690 women versus 1,078 men. So, hey Manifestel, women abusing and killing their male partners is not that infrequent. The numbers are actually way closer than the title of this article suggests. But what a shock.
I mean, either way, like Sean, I feel like it's not worth, bringing up, because either way, it's not a thing that you should be worried about, Like saying like, oh, well, there's a chance a girl can murder you too. Like that's not even a good point, because like both of them are like ridiculous fear mongers. And they're not actually gonna happen. Like what is actually gonna happen is like you'll find out that she hooked up with her ex, or like she's texting someone else, or that like the moment you start losing money, she's less interested in talking to you. Like that will happen. And I think it's like if you're gonna talk about that, then go for it. And I'm actually really surprised, to be honest with you. I'm actually pretty surprised that she hasn't brought up cheating. Because if she brought up cheating, I feel like a lot of I don't really know what the breakdown is. I feel like the cheating epidemic or whatever, I feel like it's a pretty even split. I feel like women and men cheat kind of the same amount. Maybe men cheat more, but if so, it's not going to be like a crazy amount more. It's going to be like a 5% more sort of thing. Then you got to factor in for like age and stuff. But I'm surprised, like, for someone who's going to be this much of like an anti-man sort of like thing, I'm really surprised I haven't heard a single thing about cheating. Like, I really think she'd be all over that. She'd say like, yeah, you know, he's going to cheat, or like, you know, he's a player. Men are not satisfied with women. Like, I'm a little surprised to have not heard that from her. Low key, doesn't really make sense. I'm not sure if she brought up cheating, and that's like something strange, because it's not that she didn't bring it up. It's the fact that she's bringing up the murder rate. Like, if you're not going to bring up the cheating just in general, just because it's just not on your mind, then that's okay. But I guess the fact that this is weird, because statistically it's so much, it's literally like a billion trillion times more rare, you know? Shit just does not make sense to me. Wait, she does talk about celebrities cheating, but those clips aren't super relevant in the video? I mean, either way, my boy, the point is that we've been doing murder for like 10, 15 minutes, bro. Like, hello?
Yeah, another example of women most affected in a situation where most of the victims are men. Not to mention that the silver lining of women knowing their assailant more often than men is that you can more effectively reduce this problem by learning human psychology and by learning how to identify predators so that you can stay away from them. Yet instead of empowering her viewers with information like this, Manifestel often fear-mongers her audience into believing that murder is something that's likely to happen to them if they don't heed her warnings. She does that by saying, you can never tell what kind of men—
Is she trying to sell like a survival guide? Or what? Or literally what? What a weird angle to take in this like space. Cause like the fresh and fit people, their big fear monger is that like the girl's gonna take half your money, you know? Or that she'll cheat. The fearmonger of murder is a new one. Like what's the market cap on that one? You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, is that gonna print bread? Like, is there money to be made here?
And these are, there are no signs, it's just random.
And the problem with previous pre-2014 perception of the family annihilators was that family annihilators were painted as like these obviously unhappy and frustrated men, like men whose turmoil is so visible that we think that we would know if they were going to do it. But apparently that's not representative of reality. You can never really tell.
Actually, there's a great book that teaches you how to identify risk factors for extreme abusers called The Murderer Next Door. But do you know what the dumbest thing was? Elle's evidence of, this is just random, you can never tell who it's going to be, comes from a text that says, these men had good jobs and made a lot of money.
Oh no. So every like actual person who she would want to date because of the money is also the one that is gonna like kill you. Like I know how she has viewers, right? And like everyone actually does. Like everyone knows how she has viewers. And the answer is just so simple. It's because people are stupid, right? Like that makes sense. Like that's an easy answer to a hard question. How does she have viewers? People are stupid. Okay. Makes sense. But like I'm not that smart, and I'm smelling like heaps of bullshit, my man. Like the idea that like it's gonna be the high profile guys that you also are, you want these guys the most, but they're also the ones who are gonna kill you, so you don't want them, or at least you're telling your audience not to, so make it make any goddamn sense. I'm so lost. I'm literally so lost.
I would never do anything abusive. Are you kidding me? Yeah, like a rich person has never done something evil before. If you ever needed any proof that graduating—
Did I misunderstand this?
Yeah, like a rich person has never done something evil before. If you ever needed any proof that graduating college doesn't make you smart or give you critical thinking skills, here it is. The text also stated, oh, but publicly he seemed like a good husband. Do you have any idea how many people lie about the health of their relationships in public? Behind the scenes, there were probably a number of signs he was abusive before he committed the crime. These things don't just happen in a vacuum. You can learn the signs. Elle, have you ever thought about doing any research on mental health? I mean, how does this video actually help your audience? Telling them that men are a bunch of killers and there's not much they can do to protect themselves. But in reality, there's a lot you can do to
I think what it's actually benefiting her by doing this is that when you instill a new fear into a large group of people, and they've actually become kind of weary about it, and it's not like a rational fear, you're the only one talking about this because it is irrational, they're only going to be able to want to watch more about you to learn more about this irrational fear. So it's sort of smart because it feeds into this the fear that they now have that they want to learn more about, and she's going to get all of those people. So they're going to be repeat viewers because you're the only one addressing the non-existent problem. I say non-existent, obviously it exists, but it exists at such a low level to where like making so many videos about it, like you should seriously be concerned that your husband or boyfriend's going to kill you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not warranting all these videos. And the fact that she's doing all these videos about it and making it this scary is literally to just get more people to watch more. You know? Oh, I'm scared. Wait, how bad does it get? And then it's just a rabbit hole. Like you're just shoving them down the hole. Makes sense.
Protect yourself from abusive
My cooking chat?
people. First and foremost, understand that abusive people, male or female, tend to be very good at identifying.
She was saying that you can't predict if a man is going to be evil or not, and using rich men do it too as proof. Yeah. It was saying like. Oh, I thought it was specifically saying the men who are killers were rich, and I was gonna say like that makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right.
Fine, who will be an easy target? The best thing that you can do is not be a good victim. One of the most common ways that abusive people know that you're weak is through your posture. Not only does standing up straight make you more physically attractive, it also signals that you're not weak.
It's so bad.
Bad posture is one of the ways that bullies know which kid to pick on at school. They also look for people with very soft or weak voices, or people who aren't very assertive. Outside of that, there are certain common red flags that abusers have in a relationship, like they call you stupid or worthless a lot, or they think of excuses to isolate you from your friends and family, or they increasingly try to restrict your freedom against your will. So if they do those things...
Your posture being terrible is a flex because tall people have bad posture? Oh, Sean, you glazed me like a fresh out the oven Krispy Kreme, my man. You gotta stop. Let me crack my back real quick. Yo, tell me if the mic picks this up. Oh, it didn't pick it up, bro, but it was a good crack right there. Oh my goodness, I needed that. That shit woke me up, low-key. I'm like falling asleep on the job. We've been live for 3... Bro, that's how you know I'm cooked, bro. I'm just back to streaming and I'm like about to tap at 3 hours. Oh my god, I'm never hitting that 10 mil. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding about not hitting the 10 mil. No, but I definitely am, to be honest with you. I am tired. Like, oh, I got some good work done today. But bro, getting cooked at 3 hours in is so bad. Bro, I'm gonna leak the sauce. I was planning on doing a 24-hour stream in a few days. So if I'm getting tired, what 3 hours? What's 3 divided by 24? Bro, 12% of the way there and I'm cooked already? That's bad, bro. That's real bad.
Then don't marry or have kids with them. Maybe if Elle did some actual research on this stuff, she could give her audience some decent advice. But wait, if she did actual research, she couldn't fearmonger her audience about the frequency of murder, and that's bad for views.
Late last year, this TikTok video went viral, and it reads, "White men because they no longer want to be a married father of 4, but divorce is never an option." And she first points to the phone at her head and then points it at other people, basically as a joke to say that these men would threaten to do bad things to themselves, but really they do bad things to the people around them, aka their family. And no, I cannot play the video, but check it out if you want, okay? And this video was so viral because, it's a thing.
Sorry if this seems like a random tangent, but I caught it during editing and I couldn't leave it out. So you mean to tell me that this chick flipped out and went on a 22-minute rant about how disgusting a comment was that a girl made about black people, but if a black person makes a joke calling white men a bunch of mass shooters who will harm their own families, that's something that your audience just has to watch? I'm so tired of these fucking racists virtue signaling to everyone.
Yes, Sean! Yo, I never hear him swear. When he does, it like hits hard. Like why did I low-key get chills? You know what I'm saying? Like, why did I low-key just get goosebumps? When a nice guy loses his fuck, what is it? It's like when a nice guy, can someone in chat complete it, bro? It's when a nice guy loses his cool, like the world shivers or something, bro. Like you gotta help me out here. Does bro have a crush on TBYS, bro? After that cute ass F-bomb, bro, maybe. Bless you, wrong. The devil shivers when the nice guy raises his voice. I don't know what it is. I don't know, but
either all of this stuff is okay or none of it's okay. These people will say the most racist shit, and then when someone makes half a joke back at them, they'll spend like 10 hours crying about it. Anyway, sorry for the tangent. Let's finish the fear-mongering clip.
But it's a lot more common than once in a blue moon. And honestly, the girlies are already starting to talk about it. Someone said,
"It's like a universal agreement that this is how they will handle it. Even when they simply lose a job, this is their reaction."
And one of the main reasons I wanted to talk about this today is because it does need to be studied. Okay, we are in the midst of the so-called male loneliness crisis, aka men's F around and find out era.
Actually, look at the murder rates, Al. All cases of murder are like 5.5 people.
I just gotta nitpick that one too. Like the fact that she said the male loneliness epidemic is like the result of men fucking around and finding out. Like that's just so crazy to me because she's saying that the loneliness is just because they're not dating, which is it's like just so funny. Like the idea that there's a loneliness epidemic just because men are single is hilarious. Like maybe it also has something to do with the fact that like it has never been easier to sit inside all day and do nothing and not talk to people. Like that you can order food, you can play, like everything needed for your basic survival can exist within 10 feet of you and you would never have to leave your house. Like that probably has to contribute with the fact that men are lonely, right? Obviously, yeah, like the being single thing does add a layer to it, but the fact that like she's saying that's all it is just so telling. It's so telling, bro. Like it's just not, like that's not all it is. It's just not true. Never leaving your house is the YouTuber life. Yeah, it's a fact. But listen, bro, like this is low-key part of my social interaction.
People per 100,000, and spousal homicides are way less than that. This is a very rare occurrence, and you've shown no evidence that murder is an increasing problem over the past 10, 20, or 30 years. It's been going down.
Because it's not.
Even after it spiked during COVID, it's still going down. I mean, you brag about being a STEM major, but did you forget everything from your stats class? Because your negligence on the research here is stunning. I am genuinely shocked that you can read an entire book and watch like 100 episodes of Criminal Minds, but you can't spend 5 seconds Googling a very obvious question like, what are the homicide rates in America? I'm not even being hyperbolic about how insane the fear-mongering is, as Manifestel literally suggests that becoming a trad wife will get you killed.
So today's class is to shed a light on...
Why she also does that, I notice this now, that she calls her videos classes, which is the funniest thing because in any actual class where the teacher is just talking out of her ass and doesn't use a single thing, like a single stat or like lesson plan, it's like not, it's just bullshit. Like it just is literal bullshit, my boy.
This very disturbing.
They feel like classes. Yeah, I mean like with the white backdrop and like the preachiness and the condescension, then maybe, but like in terms of like substantiveness and like actual value you're getting and knowledge and non-bullshit, it's kind of fails in that department, to be honest with you. To keep it a buck, can we keep it a buck? Like, is that okay? Can I do that?
Phenomenon, and how the trends that are rising right now, such as the increased proliferation of trad wife content and the adoption of trad wife lifestyle, predicts the rise of family annihilators.
What exactly is your evidence
I'm falling asleep, bro. I'm falling asleep, bro. Oh, I'm like literally, I think I'm gonna like lay in bed and like either watch Dexter or like grind out some of the fucking Cuphead expert bosses, or I don't really know, to be honest. Like, I might just sleep. Is that crazy? Like, I might just literally sleep.
This. Do you even have like a correlative graph of trad wife relationships going up, followed by an increase?
No, of course not, because not. Oh my god, like, of course, like what? Like I know he has to do this to like he has to ask the question to answer it with no to like make the point, but like asking the question is already like offensive because it's like you're giving the possibility to the audience to fill in the blank when it's like the blank that needs to be filled is always no. Did you do this? No. She didn't use the graph. She didn't read. She didn't do what had to be done. She didn't do the homework.
Murder rate? No, because the murder rates are going down. So where do we get this correlation of TikTok influencers promoting traditionalism, leading to increased homicide?
And if you think I'm overblowing this issue, you want to gaslight me about how this is not a real problem, listen to this.
If you're in the true crime community, you would know how scary accurate this is. It needs to be studied truly.
Source: I watch true crime.
If you're in the true crime community, you would know how scary accurate this is. It needs to be studied
It's scary accurate.
truly.
It's so accurate that not a single graph reflects it.
It's a thing. It's a big thing.
It is so accurate that it's cannot be proven empirically.
It's a known thing, and it's a thing that should be studied so that we could...
So it hasn't been studied. Oh, well, isn't that convenient?
prevent it. And it is so big that Criminal Minds, the TV series, did multiple episodes on this topic, showing all the...
I'm gonna fucking lose my mind, bro. Her proof is that, so this is a crazy strat she's doing, right? She's like, it's so big that there has to be studies about it. Do you see the problem with that? If it was so big, the study would precede it being big. Like, it's like the chicken or the egg shit, right? It's like, if it were so big, the study would have already been done, but it's not.
Different iterations of Family Annihilators. They did at least one episode on Family Annihilators in season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Hold on a second. What is this called? Criminal Minds?
At least one on this topic, showing
Wait.
so big that Criminal Minds...
Okay, Criminal Minds. Bro, I looked this up. It's literally fiction. Oh, inspired by real life cases. Okay. So it's like half true? Or like the cases, are they true? Give me a second. Hold on.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13.
Oh, yeah?
Well, that's 13. That's not that much. That's not that many instances.
You don't think this is a problem?
You don't know about Criminal Minds? I mean, I've heard of it. I just didn't know if it was real or not, you know?
Well, there was a TV show that did a lot of episodes.
You should start... I'm not reading that.
Episodes on it. I bet you can't argue against that. You can't be serious, Elle. Where is your education? Now, I haven't shown this, but she uses the term media literacy a lot.
Oh, God.
So, Elle, if you're a media...
Oh, it's just so typical at this point, bro. Like, we just know. We literally just know how this... Like, people who use the phrase media literacy, all they're trying to do is when you say, oh, media literacy, oh, where's your media literacy? They're asking you, why did you not reach the same, like, societal conclusion that I did after watching the show that I watched? You know? That's all that phrase exists for.
Illiterate, then where is your understanding that seeing something on TV a lot doesn't mean it's genuinely a...
Bro, I told you she was a massive leftist, and did I disagree with you? Like, hello? Like, are you watching the stream, my boy? Like, lock in for a second, my boy. Like, you're embarrassing yourself. I never said that she wasn't a leftist. All I said was the way that you decided that she was is a flawed way of doing it. That was my argument, boy.
Frequent occurrence. I mean, when I was a kid, I thought I had a high chance of dying in quicksand because every movie had quicksand in it. Yet in all my life, I've never encountered quicksand before. Again, you've got to be kidding me. How does this media literate spoiled girlie not know that over-reporting bad things is a very common news tactic to make people think that those things happen more frequently than they actually do? Anyway, next she says this.
Did you know that women are the main consumers of true crime? Which is funny. I mean, not funny, but interesting, because we are also the main victims of violent crime.
Actually,
that's so not true.
Men are more often the victims of violent crime, and when it comes to murder,
obviously,
most of the victims are men.
Right, yeah, like, what the fuck? Like, hello?
Again, these are simple numbers that take seconds to look up.
Because it's crazy, too. She mentioned at the beginning there's like a male mass unaliving problem, right? And in order for it to be mass... Like, literally, the word mass would have to be, it's like the mass amount of people. And in order for that to be a mass, it would have to have men and women. In this case, it's mostly men in the population of people that are being murdered. Hello?
Seriously, Elle, you should sue the college that you went to for not teaching you research methodology.
Yeah.
But maybe I shouldn't be this generous because, honestly, her research is so bad that mixed with everything else, it's hard to not attribute it to open malice towards men.
Not only are we living in a crisis...
Well, because the thing is, like, it has to be, because she knows this, like, oh yeah, like there's a big murder problem and men are murdering, right? And then she goes on to say, well, women are mainly the victims of murder, but it's like, you just said men are murdering a lot of people. Then she says it's only women, but how is it a lot of people and only women? Like that literally is like not true. It has to be she's just lying. Like, it has to be an intentional lie.
Crisis of masculinity and male loneliness. We are also living in an uncertain economy where industries are facing great disruption by new technology. What happens when these men who have all this responsibility face job loss, business failure, loss of money, loss of status, and loss of face? What happens when we create a
loss of face? Am I tripping?
Loss of status and loss of face.
Like, what are you literally saying? Loss of face. The economy is like, am I gonna look stupid? Does that mean something? Loss of face. Lost face is an idiom that means to do something that causes you to appear weak or less. Okay. So I do look like an idiot. Okay. Ah, man. That's the one time she gets one on me, huh? Damn, what a bad day to be me, huh? I let this one... Damn, bro. She using idioms now? Shit. Fuck, bro. I got cooked up there, didn't I? Oh, shit. That's embarrassing for me, isn't it? Happens, I guess. Yeah, loss of face. Fuck, I never heard it. Yeah, I'm sleepy now, but even if I wasn't sleepy, to be honest with you, I never heard someone say that. Loss of face. So it's just like loss of like appearing masculine or like, you know, threatening or powerful.
What happens when we create a society filled with the perfect conditions for a family annihilator? You get the rise of family annihilators when they can no longer perform masculinity. But
I feel like a society that has laws and a police force that is, and a justice system meant to put family annihilators in jail probably is not the most conducive and rewarding for those who want to annihilate families. Am I tripping, chat? Like, I feel like the fact that we have like police that arrest you and put you in jail and a legal process that makes it that you will serve time in a federal penitentiary if you do murder probably dissuades people from wanting to do murder, you know? Like, talking about media literacy, like are you like literate in the understanding that society in general is not pro doing murder? Keep it a buck.
By being the breadwinner, the decision maker, the big boss, they resort to crime as a last resort performance of masculinity so that they can feel good about themselves. Crime by men is a form of social practice invoked as a resource when other resources are unavailable for accomplishing masculinity.
So I murdered someone to feel like a man? That's the point?
And apparently, men are socialized to accomplish masculinity by hurting women and children.
Okay, so I literally predicted what she was going to say. Like, that's the actual take. That's why I steel-manned it. That's crazy.
Yeah, after that comment, I see no reason to give you any charitability. With no evidence other than someone else's opinion in a book that you read and a Google Trends search, you said that men are socialized to kill women and children. Not only that, but she also says, if you thought the problem wasn't bad enough, lots of men are going to lose their jobs in the future, and because of that, this creates the perfect conditions for men to start murdering their families left and right. You do understand how the audience is going to perceive this, right? Because you basically never show good examples of men, because you don't go over the actual numbers even though they're easy to look up, and because you many times say that this problem is getting worse despite the evidence contradicting you, your audience is going to leave with the emotional judgment that all men, or almost all men, are bad. This is exactly what the manosphere does. They fill their shows up with prostitutes or the most delusional women they can find, and they say, look, this is how most women or all women behave. Anyway, like I was saying, it's disgusting how little research someone can get away with and have people believe them if they just pull a random number out of their ass or put a quote from a book on screen. Elle said that men commit crime as a way of accomplishing masculinity when other resources are unavailable, and basically use that to suggest that if a traditional man gets laid off...
Like, that's just not true. Like, if resources are unavailable, like, let's say resource A is unavailable, like, getting a girlfriend, I'll tell you what resource is always available, and it's getting in shape. Like, if you have no resources, like, if you have no money, if you have no girlfriend, if you have no friends... you can always do push-ups. Like, if there's a flat surface, which is a resource that literally no matter where you are, even if you're in fucking prison, you can do push-ups. You can achieve masculinity by working out. Like, that is a very masculine thing. Like, getting in shape, getting big muscles. Like, that's like the most masculine shit I can think of. Like, that is the most like very surface level basic thing to think of when we're talking about this. You know what I'm saying? So like, you can't like... why would crime be the thing? Like, oh my God, like, I just don't know, bro. Like, how is it that I'm this tired and, like, I'm still able to deconstruct it? Is she just that dumb? Like, I don't know, bro. Oof.
Did she directly say that? No, she didn't directly say it, but this is how you will perceive the message emotionally as a viewer, because she's not regularly showing positive examples to counteract the negative ones. Where did she even get that info? Well, she quoted it from a 2012 article from the International Journal of Law, Crime, and Justice. That sounds really official, right? However, if you go to the paper and you find the quote, it doesn't come from that article. It comes from this 30-year-old book on page 85. And when you read it, you find out that it's just someone's opinion. Someone's opinion who spent two whole...
Well, like, no shit, right? Like, I mean, every time she's pulled up a graph, the only thing she's extrapolated from it was just like her own anecdote. So it's just like, you know.
Pages quoting other people's opinions. Like, he didn't even do a study on it. He just read some books and said, this is what I think. Yet Manifestel presents this information as if it was a fact that came from a study that was testing for this. That being said, to my regular viewers, do you remember when I did the Alienation video and I talked about people, especially Marxist and radical leftists like Robin DiAngelo, just quoting their friends and printing it as scientific fact? Well, here's yet another example of that. So did Manifestel read the source of this quote to evaluate the validity of the claim before she essentially stated it as fact for her video?
Well, of course not. Like, this isn't this, like, I guess the problem with this is that at this point in time, all you're doing is just saying the exact same thing that has been displayed by her, like, for the entire length of the video. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just saying the same shit over and over again. Like they're just proving that she doesn't make, like, I'm running out of words for this shit, bro, because it's just like, yes, she's not, the shit she's saying is ridiculous. It's not proven by anything, and she spams it, so, excuse me. At this point in time, bro, like, I might just skip ahead a little bit, because if we're still on, like, the murder shit, it's just like, obviously what she's saying about the murders is not backed up by science, bro. Guys hate rating me, bro. Just like on a Sunday? Like, really, bro?
We're good at nothing.
Really?
Tell me why weaponized incompetence or incompetence period is still not an ick, okay? Like, if a man doesn't have basic adult survival skills, like, that is a child. Like, you're really telling me you can't cook pasta? You can't microwave a meal?
Yes, as if no woman on earth has ever weaponized
Who the fuck wants to live off microwave meals, though? Like, what a shit argument. What a terrible argument. And then, like, the thing is, she's gonna bring up the stat earlier about getting backaches and heart problems from standing up while cooking, right? She's like, oh, we have to bear that burden. But then she also goes on to say, like, you should microwave food. Like, what?
Competence to get out of work. Yet she only points out men doing it. And don't worry, I have more.
Doesn't make sense.
She throws out a lot of these one-sided arguments.
Whenever women express their desire for material...
The murder stuff, I had to skip, bro. Like, we're gonna skip.
Strong projection. But going back to the weaponized incompetence thing, well, not really, but we're going to talk about a video she did about weaponized incompetence. So sort of going back to that topic, this was probably the worst video of hers that I watched in terms of relationship advice, as I watched her brag about poisoning a girl who had a good time on a date.
Since we're already on the topic, let's talk about how to make the world a better place. You need to stop being impressed with the bare minimum. And you need to teach the spoiled girlies around you to not be impressed by the bare minimum. Let me tell you a story. I have a girlfriend.
It doesn't even matter. Like, if what she's saying is that like the murders and stuff like that, the violence is like the main issue, then the idea of like someone doing more than the bare minimum, canceling that out, it just doesn't. Like, this is my point, bro. At the very beginning, she's saying you have to be spoiled. Like, you have to require a very high standard from the guy that you're dating, like bags, dinners, whatever. But if all of that you receive, or if your goal is to receive that, you cannot then go on and say that you should perpetually, nonstop be afraid of getting murdered. You know? This does not make sense.